Grainmaker. Welcome, everyone, to the Grainmaker Wrestling Podcast, a Prairie Proud wrestling podcast covering everything from Winnipeg to worldwide. My name is Blair Pacheco. I hope you're doing well, having a great day, evening, weekend, whenever it is you might be sitting down and listening to this. Now, at the time of recording this, we're recording this March 17th. And, I was thinking about it, and I even mentioned it, that it had been a year to the day almost that I had first met my guest today. And I'm very stoked to have them on the podcast. First time I met them, they were in Winnipeg wrestling for they were part of the Voyager Cup Night 2. They challenged the then champion, Ava Lawless. I'm stoked to have them on the podcast. We're going to talk to them about that and so much more. Joining me on the Grainmaker Wrestling Podcast, it's Cherry Blossom. Cherry, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. Thank you so much. I am very excited. This is my first time being on a podcast, so I'm very excited.
Hell yeah. Now I have to ask, because everybody's starting point for how they became a fan of wrestling is different. What was your earliest childhood memory of wrestling?
I'm from Japan, and I didn't grow up watching wrestling. But the earliest childhood memory, I would say, is just being like in elementary school, just watching TV and just remembering specifically Akira Hokuto. She's phenomenal in Japan, and just looking at her wrestling, like, wow, I'm scared, like by her intensity. Wow, these ladies are going at each other. I've definitely remembering watching more girls wrestling than guys. Not even like being a fan at the time, but just watching TV, always remembering like, wow, these Joshi wrestlers are insane.
And that's something that I know, like over in Japan, like you see, like, that you have the all women promotions over there, and you have like, it's much different than it is here in North America. So it's very nice having that as almost like, an entry point, seeing like, that there is so much more of that going on.
Yeah, definitely.
So you weren't really a fan then. Do you remember when you sort of took notice and started watching it?
I would say, honestly, beginning of summer like 2022, one of my friend at the time was a big fan of pro wrestling, and I was just watching with them, and it was I think I was really invested in the storyline that they were going through. I was watching WWE. I think this was when Sami Zayn was like honorary Uso. And I was just like, wow, like I want to know what's going on next week, and I want to come back to it and watch it. And that made me realize, oh, I actually really like this. Because I was only watching like TV, WWE wrestling, when I got to know that there was a local indie show, I was like, wow, I can watch this in a closer range.
Just up close and personal in your own backyard, basically.
Yeah. And I was like, wow. And remembering going to one of the NEW show in Vancouver, and just watching them going at each other. And, I can almost like feel the sweat, and like just being in that moment feels so real, and remembering, I love this.
That's awesome. It's nice that was something that like, almost like inspired you, like that, just being a part of that as a fan.
Yeah.
So what was it that made you decide that, hey, I want to try professional wrestling, that I'm going to go and I'm going to train and I want to become a wrestler?
I would say first time I felt that way was obviously the watching it live. How it made me feel. So, when you're watching like shows or movies, and you're like, let's say the protagonist is going through some hard stuff, and you also feel like, like that sucks. You share that, you feel that person's emotion. And I felt that when I was watching it live, and I thought, wow, I want to make people feel that way. Like by doing this, I can make feel people some type of way. And I thought that was really, really powerful. And I used to really be like at musical theater and stuff like that. And but I never got to like, big league, like not a Broadway, anything like that. So I just did like, school shows
Yeah.
and musical and stuff like that. And I always wanted to do that. But, time passes by. I graduated school and it's not that much of opportunity like that. And when I watch wrestling, oh, wow, this is like combination of, doing theater and sports. This is amazing.
Mhm.
And that's when I felt like, okay, maybe I can do this and I want to do this. And this was the time when I like just searched up online nearest pro wrestling school. And then Lions Gate was like at the top of the search. So I'm like, click, and read the information. I'm like, oh, these are the people I actually watched in NEW live. So then I was like, oh, definitely this is the one. And I kind of like started reaching out and stuff like that.
See that's a nice way to go about it, because you see like, hey, these are people I'm actually watching. They're a part of the school, and it definitely it almost adds like a level of comfort for yourself, knowing that it's not just like weird people who are going to be like taking part in it.
Yes.
So Lions Gate Dojo, you search it up. It's your first, your first choice. It's the one that's right there. What was training like for you? Like, because, uh, was it something different than you expected, or what was the overall experience like for yourself?
Um, I knew that this would kind of change the lifestyle. So I wasn't really surprised by it, but definitely like, let's say, helping out shows, training all the time, and put workout in between all that. I felt like, I was just uh, going to sleep, wake up tomorrow morning, I go for work, and I go eat, I sleep. It's just like everyday normal routine.
Mhm.
I felt like a robot. But when I started training and at the dojo doing all this stuff, makes me feel like I have purpose to live almost. It's like, there's always that intention for me, like, oh, I want to get better, or I want to get stronger, or there's always that motivation. So that just honestly, my life, I know it sounds a little bit cheeky, but honestly, it changed my life.
I don't think it sounds cheeky at all. I think it's something that, like, I've heard it before from people where they have said, like, it was something they wanted to do and they just never did it. And then finally they took that step, and it opened up a whole new world for them. Like it showed that there was more than just the 9 to 5 of everyday life, that, you could go and train and do these athletic things and be a part of a community. And I think that is something really special. So I don't think it sounds cheeky at all.
Thank you.
Um, I want to ask, because I mean, you kind of started watching, wrestling a little bit later on, like you mentioned 2022, kind of really getting into it then. And then, you go and you start training. Was there anything that you learned about yourself when you started training?
Um, Definitely, when you go to training, obviously you learn moves, um, the how to run ropes, like all these stuff. But I feel that Lionsgate, they teach more than just that. Like they teach more than wrestling, in my opinion. Taking Billy Swade, when I just started out training, he told me something that stuck with me forever until this day, and it implied that to my personal life as well. He said, "Be comfortable when you are uncomfortable," and I thought, oh, I need to challenge myself, and you know whenever since then I put that in my life perspective as well, where, oh, I need to put myself out there and I need to try harder. And when things get harder at that point, it didn't really um, when the things get harder, I was more excited, and I liked that I was challenged.
Mhm.
And that kind of, I learned that, oh, maybe I gained better like understanding of my competitive nature in a way, where it's like, no, I like it. I like this challenge. And yeah, I think that's something that I learned throughout training at dojo.
Nice. Well, how long were you taking part in training before you had your first match?
I would say I got my green light within 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started around 2023 September, and my first match was 2024 June or July. Yes.
Okay. Who was your first match with?
It was Taryn from Accounting, TFA,
Yes.
at NEW. Okay. So when I first started watching like a live indie show, uh, I just really liked Taryn. Like her in-ring presence, whatever she does, I thought she was super cool. Just being a fan, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was always like screaming her name and whatever. And I even like took a picture with her as a fan. And I'm told that my first match was against TFA, and I'm like, are you serious right now? It's like having the circle moment already. And I'm like, oh my God. So that was phenomenal. I loved working with her, and she was just the nicest person. And, you know, it's just that, I mean, first match, you're super nervous, right?
Mhm.
You're out there for the first time in your ring gear and everything. So obviously, I was super nervous. But, you know, coaches being there, and like, I already knew TFA was really nice to work with. So I was really stoked about it, but again, nervous. And when I went out there, we just had a really good time. And I really hope to have another match with her. But yeah, that was a really a memorable moment for me.
I'm a big fan of TFA. TFA and Stephen Crow, ride or die. Big fan over here. Stephen Crow is my favorite cowboy, so I'll just say that much, you know. But I'm glad that it was with Taryn. Taryn's a fantastic wrestler, and you know the fact that you were a fan of hers before that, and like that is a very nice moment for you to have. That you know you get to share your first match with her.
Yeah.
Um, I want to ask, when it comes to wrestling, who have been some of your biggest inspirations?
I gotta say, um, definitely Asuka. I mean, again, being Japanese and watching Japanese women in like North America scene, it's a huge inspiration for me. You know, definitely when I saw Asuka for the first time, that's when I felt like, oh, I can go all out. I mean, look how she is. Like,
Mhm.
look how she presents herself, coming into the ring. Just like everything she does felt like, oh, I can go all out. Like I can just unleash myself almost. And that was something that gave me a big like, you know, you just honestly do it rather than kind of hesitating. So that's one of the things I got from Asuka. If I say locally, definitely Nicole, and let me mention Casey Ferreira. He is somebody that I always look up to. I mean, again, I talk about the in-ring presence, but just how he is in the ring, how he presents himself, uh, just super professional. You know, his physique and just like everything about him is super great.
Mhm.
And sorry for going a different direction here,
No,
but
no.
just honestly, get to train with somebody like him, amazing, and getting coached by somebody like Nicole, you know, Artie, Tony, and Billy, awesome.
You know, I was lucky enough, you know, I was able to have Casey on the podcast last year. And then I know this past weekend getting a chance to actually meet him in person, him and Elliot. So, you know,
Nice.
this is, you know, where, you know, Elliot, you get your little plug. So like, thank you, Elliot. And I'm glad I finally got to meet you, but it's nice that, you know, you have someone like Casey who's there as well. And, you know, like, you see that, and you can also like push yourself too, because you can see like, you know, what's going on, and you're like always striving for more sort of thing, you know? So that's really nice. Now I want to ask, because I know I mentioned it at the very beginning of the podcast that, you know, it's almost a year to the day, and I kind of joked with you about it beforehand. Uh, you know, you were out here, Winnipeg Pro Wrestling. You challenged Ava Lawless, the then champ, for the WPW Women's Championship. And I wanted to ask about what that match was like for you, because I know that was your first time wrestling out, in the prairies. So how did you feel about that? What did you think about the match and being a part of the show? I know it was a very hot crowd that night, so hopefully you had a good time there. But what were your thoughts?
You know, going out of the province, going to the unknown, it felt like. But, just I definitely had that pressure of doing the first time, like a debut on new promotions. But again, the environment there, people are so nice. That was the first thing I realized. I'm like, wow, this is very nice here. And, Ava is lovely. She's so strong. She's super professional. And, get to be in the ring with her was super amazing. And, just like, because again, being here in Pacific Northwest, well, specifically in Vancouver, we have like maybe a handful of girls. So maybe I may be wrestling same girls over and over again, or I wrestle guys. So it was kind of rare opportunity for me to wrestle somebody big name and different province. So that was really, really great learning experience for me as well. Because, different place, maybe different, I don't know, structure of things, or just maybe a different culture, who knows. So I was really nervous, but yeah, with that, got to be in the ring with Ava was a super fun moment for me.
Nice. Now I have to ask, because when I was, searching Cherry Blossom online, I see that you were part of a gender reveal match. And now I have to ask, how does a match like this happen? Because funny enough, this is the second time I've heard of a gender reveal match, and the other person I had on the podcast too. So might be a new thing I'm doing on here, but how do you become a part of a match like that?
Well, thank you for doing the research. I love that. Okay, so this was just like fan randomly reached out to me, and she's like, hey, I really want you to do it. And I'm like, sounds good. And here I'm like, okay, how do I even get this going? I just, I decided to organize this myself, and I picked one of the wrestler. His name is Power Chef. He's great. I took Power Chef because he's kind of a gimmicky guy as well. I thought it would be really fun to do, more of a fun show. And what we technically did was in the backyard with no ring. I can't say this is a backyard wrestling, but you know what I mean? In the literal backyard.
Yeah.
And the really fun moment was, because he is Power Chef, we have like stale baguette and smacking each other and whatnot. And at the end, he went through the table. So it was, and I think I really liked it because, get to be part of that special moment. And sure, for us, it's wrestling, but for them, it's more than just wrestling. Figuring out the gender, that's like a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
So, being part of that and seeing everybody's like, oh my God, it's a girl. Like, yes. Just being in that environment. I'm like, yes, I love being this, again, I talked about, I like making people feel that, either happiness or sadness or whatever that is. And I saw that live. And, they were just thanking me. He's like, hey, this was incredible. Like, because also I think what they mentioned was they're also like Asian descent. So I was also like one of the Asian representation around here. And she really liked that. So something like that, looking at maybe somebody like my ethnicity, young girl, and maybe doesn't know too much of wrestling, or maybe you don't even know if girl can be as strong, and like, because the girl's like, oh my God, you won. And they were so surprised and like, I loved it. You're so strong. And I felt like I want to influence like even little kids or anybody. And again, going back to that, make them feel something. And I feel like with that, I was able to achieve that. So that made me really happy.
I just want to share something real quick when you mentioned that, because I know a few years back I took my daughter to a show, and it was a WPW show. It was at the first ever Fight at the Museum show. And she's watching, she's having fun, and then she actually saw Ava Lawless wrestle there. And she was just blown away because it was a woman wrestler, and that was so cool for her. So, we went up to Ava, and I'd talked to Ava before, so we knew each other, and I introduced her, and my daughter was just blown away. And she got a picture taken with her, and Ava's like, "Do you want me to lift you up?" And my daughter was like, "Really?" And there's a picture of her in like Ava's arms, and it was the smile on her face, knowing that like a girl could go and do this and like be a strong, powerful person. Like that means a lot. So like I'm glad that you were able to have that sort of feeling as well, because I think it influences people and it makes a difference. So in a good way. So that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have to ask, because, you've been able to wrestle some really great people and like share the ring with some really, really fantastic, talented wrestlers. Are there any other matches that really stand out to you that you're very proud of?
Um, I have more than couple. Is it okay if I mention four?
You betcha.
Awesome. Top of my head, I just had this match with Tony Baroni at Boom Pro Wrestling. So now we're at Boom. We're doing this something called Kitsilano League. So it's like a league competition, and Tony and I are in the same league. So we had a match that was first time doing a main event, and oh, that felt like it. It felt so different. I felt like I don't even know how to explain. It's like, you do wrestling, you finish your match, come back, you talk about it. That's like how usually it goes. But this time, I was just like, went back there, grabbed him, and we just appreciated the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And we really enjoyed the time we spent in the ring together, because I would say I go to Tony's class a lot, and especially like Saturdays is his day, and we train all day together, and finally get to have singles with him was like really, really, again, I felt like it was another circle moment, because he has been coaching me since the fundamentals and everything. And in my mind, I'm like, I can't disappoint him. He has taught me so much. So then I was a bit pressured, obviously. But at the end of the day, we had so much fun, and I felt like I did. Every matches, I feel like I try to obviously get better every time. But this match, I felt like not just one, but maybe two or three better, in a way where it's like, wow, I was able to do this in main event. Obviously, there's so many things that I can improve, but I feel like, you know what? I can, this time,
Yep.
I would give myself a pat in the back.
Yep.
And, it was really, really cool match. I absolutely loved it. I would even say one of my favorite match of so far.
Nice.
Yeah. And speaking of Boom, another intergender match I had was with Miles DeVille. Oh, Miles is so good.
Yes.
He's super, super good. And with him, I was able to, again, push the limit like I did with Tony. And, it's just, I feel like those two matches, I was the most intense compared to any other matches. I was hitting so hard, and it's just like, I was giving literally everything. I was wrestling like there's no tomorrow. And to be honest, from the Tony and Miles match, something in me not changed, but something either like clicked or made sense, that it's like, wow, this is like totally different feeling than how I've been wrestling since the beginning. So then I'm more excited about my future matches now that I kind of have, I wouldn't even say better mindset, but more of a developed mindset
Mhm.
that it's like, okay, I can, I can make this, hit stronger, hit harder, anything, like execution of things. I felt like, okay, after these two matches, I feel a little bit different.
Mhm.
And that was something that I felt from those two matches. Um, those were like my favorite intergender matches. Other matches I had at NEW, one I had with Zoe Sager. I mean, she's WWE ID, so
Yep.
she is so good. She's so good. She's so nice. And uh, being like smaller, shorter person, I always go against somebody always bigger, taller, right, heavier. But with Zoe, I was able to do lots of things. And again, she's so strong.
Mhm.
So, you know, I feel like every time when I wrestle somebody super experienced, um, I learn new things and also I get to challenge myself. And that was something I did with Zoe that I really loved about. And sorry, I kept going
No,
about
no,
these matches.
this is great.
Awesome. The last one I wanted to mention was against Anna Breda, Big Ann.
Yeah.
I went for the women's title at NEW last month or so, and that was first time doing singles with her. And again, I feel like that match I was super intense as well, and yeah, just we did like a couple of brawl outside, and I feel like when I started, I all the matches, obviously, I wanted to be like strong and hard hitting, but I always had not a hesitation, but not everything was 100%. Maybe some of them were 95%. But doing cardio all the time, building my cardio, and making to more classes. I'm able to do 100% every time. Then that matches, I'm like, okay, I'm giving everything. So I would say those matches gave me more confidence and motivated me to be better and do better.
Nice. Now, I mean, you've had some great matches already. You've been a part of some really cool stuff. Do you have any goals for yourself for the rest of the year, stuff that you hope to accomplish?
Definitely, I want to make a debut on like promote new different promotions.
Mhm.
I definitely want to come back to WPW. It was lots of fun. But yeah, I want to go out of province or country even, get trained. I feel like that would be that's my goal for this year.
Nice. All right. So I ask everybody for a match recommendation. So one that you are personally a fan of, and it could be any promotions, any wrestlers, one you're a fan of, you think the listener should go check out.
I would say Gabe Kidd versus Kenny Omega. I would say last year, the Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
I was there. I watched it live.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God. Again, I'm going back to this. I want people feel something, right?
Yes.
And that match was all about that because, Kenny was injured and it was like very emotional return. And being Japanese and in that Japanese stadium, watching with Japanese people. So Gabe Kid has this like a pre-video that shows, the storyline, whatever, and he's saying something in Japanese, and I can hear everybody in the stadium like, oh, and it's like, it's all this video is already setting up the match so good, and then the video ends and then the entrance and just everything about that it made me feel like every single moment it made me feel like Kenny, like, oh my God, like, as a wrestler, obviously I understand what's going on, but even then, just like that facial expressions and the movement, maybe the distance, anything that just it felt super emotional in a way.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, that's why I want to do this. That match reminded me why I wanted to do it.
Nice. It was a great match too. So that's a fantastic choice. Now I have to ask, upcoming shows. I know this will be airing towards the end of March, but what do you have if you've got upcoming dates in April, anything you would like to plug, or if you want to share your social media where fans can stay in touch and see where you're going to be?
So I've got, let me check my calendar. March 28th, I have Coco Haria at Boom Pro Wrestling. That's an all-girls show, so that's really exciting.
Nice.
And I also have April 4th. This is going to be in Powell River. First time Boom's going to the island, so that'll be fun. And I also have April 11th. That will be another Kitsilano League show for Boom. And I have it is Cherry Puroresu, like a Japanese Puroresu.
Mhm.
And my Insta is Cherry Blossom Puroresu.
Cherry, thank you so much for joining me. It was a blast talking to you today. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you to Cherry, and thank you for checking out the podcast. I say it every time. I will always say it. I truly appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to me talk wrestling. If it's your first time listening, you can find me up on all social media at Grainmaker Wrestling Podcast, up on all podcast streaming platforms. And you can find me every weekend up on the Love Wrestling YouTube page doing For Exposure with my good friend Pluggo. We take a look at the world of independent wrestling. Thanks so much for checking out the podcast. We'll talk soon. Grainmaker.